what we have to understand is China's focus right now in media as well as in the halls of power is not necessarily 100% focused on Ukraine. They've got a big problem with COVID still now.
Yes, they do indeed.
They've got the worst numbers of COVID infections, including asymptomatic infections, since February 2020, and that is actually a bigger nightmare for Xi Jinping than what's going on in Ukraine, because he has tied his legacy and his reputation on a zero COVID strategy, and it stamped COVID out, except it didn't stamp COVID out. And now we've got a really serious uptick in cases, and something's got to give. Either they've got to revisit this so-called zero COVID strategy, or they're gonna have to get used to a lot more casualties.
Now the numbers, of course, from an American perspective, are still tiny. The fact is that 1 million Americans have died of COVID in the last 2 years, which is a staggering figure if you think about it. China has for the last 2 years trumpeted just how successful they have been compared to the US, compared to Europe, compared to just about every major Western economy out there. But now, as you say, that success coupled with no flexibility in the system has led to the largest city in China being completely locked down. No one on the streets, no one leaving their apartments for a week and counting. How is that likely to play out? Are we starting to see any level at all of social dissent as a consequence of that? Are we starting to see any political figures saying maybe we should reconsider that? Or is that way too far beyond the pale for a country with as much centralized control as China?
Well, first of all, there's not really much social dissent and people taking to the streets, because there's actually nobody in the streets. The streets are actually physically empty of people.
Oh, I know that.
Right now in Shanghai. Yeah.
You can have social dissent when you are locked into your apartments, right? And so I'm just saying, is there any of that going on in China right now?
Yeah. On social media, for example, one of the trending hashtags was, "It's difficult to buy groceries in Shanghai," and it had 40 million posts on Weibo, a social media platform. Okay, it's hardly an incendiary thing, but for China's premier city, its most cosmopolitan city, to have people complaining that it's hard to buy food in Shanghai, it's because they're locked down, and the people who normally deliver food are also locked down. And people are just not ready for this sort of a challenge. And, and people have had 2 years of it. So that means that it's been 2 years of a pretty bad economy for a lot of people. Certainly the gig economy and a lot of, sort of retail restaurants and things have been hurting. So I think there is definitely a level of discontent, or a vocalization of discontent that we would not be hearing if we didn't have a serious lockdown in Shanghai. It's quite symbolic that it's Shanghai, because Shanghai was always thought to be the best managed, the most advanced, the most sophisticated. We'll put it this way: the people of Shanghai always thought that they were those things, and so when they see themselves challenged, facing a challenge, and scrambling in a way that they never thought they would have to, that hits right to the soul. 2 years ago, everyone was talking about something called common prosperity.
Common prosperity.
It was,
yep.
Exactly.
Yep,
it was something that Xi Jinping coined, and it was supposed to explain, a new economic approach. It was supposed to address the very disturbing rich-poor gap in China, and it was supposed to sort of cut the tycoons and the billionaires down to size, and for a number of months,
basically make China great again. It was like his buzz phrase running. Absolutely.
Right. Well, there's not a lot of it being talked about now, and then you got to ask why.